For within the palace royal, its monarch, Prince Namor I, lies ill.
Who are you?
But my enemies call me Namor.
That Namor, I would say he obviously was given that name also by someone in the film.
El niño sin amor. Por eso le dicen Namor.
¿En serio?
El niño que creció sin amor.
Translation, Namor now means a boy who grew up without love.
Prince Namor I.
For Namor, the Submariner is back.
Prince Namor I.
But my enemies call me Namor.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
So here's my thing. I'm calling my, if I had to have, I call my thing. Marvel has a lot of apologizing to do, and so let me begin with the beginning. So the beginning is, and I'm going to say, listen, you guys are a joke, and if you're trying to convince me this is about representation or any sort of helping anyone or representing anyone, you guys are just full of crap. You're just exploiting Chadwick Boseman's death in the first few minutes of this film as Stephen, it is quite literally a self-insert of off-camera dying. Mm-hmm. They literally talk about it. You don't see a single shot of him until you have a mural on the side of a building. It's all like
didn't even have the balls to kill him in heroic fashion, doing a heroic thing.
Correct.
How dare they? And how dare they simultaneously celebrate the actor, the man, and the king, and kill him off screen with a cold? You got to be kidding me.
Well, he was killed by an unknown virus of unspecified origin.
So ridiculously meta. It's like, why?
This film is so of the moment that it was filmed.
I felt like this is the Ryan Coogler and the people at Marvel were just using this element of the film, which I thought a lot of people probably have praised this because it is an emotional element that is meant to have a tug at your heartstring. Okay. And Ryan Coogler is good at that. And that's the end of the film. We'll have a little bit more of that too at the end of the film. Right. But that's the trap because it's so hollow, generic. And as you said, Stephen, cowardice to not just put in a dude in a suit who dies in a heroic way, saving Shuri. The irony is the last film had, like, they were supposed to be like wet footprints to the throne that would set up Namor arriving. But there are moments in the comic books where you have constant conflicts and battles and things like that are set up that you could have easily had some sort of element of why there would be conflict, and maybe he fought Namor, and maybe he won, but Shuri died, or he saved Shuri. He had to sacrifice himself or something, some sort of heroic element. Nope, it's all off camera. It's all about emotions. It's all about Shuri, and then they spend 30 minutes of nothing happen other than grief and African stereotypical dancing and ceremonial nonsense that they've made up for Wakanda. Like, this is what they allegedly do. Now, by the way, Joker, I don't know if you remember the first film. Remember how they did those scenes for T'Chaka when he died? Remember those scenes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were no scenes. They didn't do any of that. We didn't have any. We had no funeral for the king. The king that was murdered.
Right.
You totally faked me out, Pops, because I haven't seen Black Panther at all.
Oh, yeah. So there was no scenes.
All I saw was, all the reviews. That's all I've heard about the film. I refuse that and Captain Marvel, not even on my radar.
Yeah, you don't
to consider to watch.
So in Black Panther, the follow-up to T'Chaka's murder in Civil War, there's no conversation of any funeral, any honoring, or nothing. Then to make this worse, that's the first 30 minutes, because literally Shuri and Mama Queen, I don't even know her name. I don't even care about her name. Angela Bassett did a great job.
Ramonda.
Yeah, she did a fine job, but I just don't care.
But why is she queen?
Because she dies too.
But why is she queen?
Yeah, just because we don't have a ceremonial combat. We don't do that. We just say she's queen. And then she dies too, and we don't have another we don't have another dancing ceremonial event again. We just don't do it. Like, we pick and choose when we want to do things, and nothing makes sense. It's like Joker. It's like, and that's where I was going, Joker. It's like, They pick and choose why Shuri is in charge, is going to be next in line. They pick and choose the queen. The writers are just making up crap for no reason.
That was my biggest initial complaint when the queen goes before the UN and they acknowledge her as the sovereign leader of Wakanda. And I'm like, how?
Why? Yeah, why?
You can't. You are obviously not following your own rules that you set in the previous film.
Right.
When the head of state, when the ruler dies, by Wakanda law, there's a challenge day. Who did she challenge? Who did she beat?
Right. Or was it assumed?
No, there's no assumption. I mean, that's not how they operate.
Was there a husband and wife kind of thing?
No, there's not. And that's the mother. That's not a husband and wife. So Zach is here. Halo Zach. Zach, by the way, there's a link if you want to come up in here. So okay, so let's rewind because in Black Panther, this is actually they spent time on defining all of this for us because it was crucial to the story in the first film. So T'Chaka dies, then there's Mama. Mama doesn't take over as queen. She's the next. She would be the next person. Like you're exactly right, Steve. No. It goes to the boy who has to have his day in the sunshine to be coronated, but they allow the other tribes to submit their own competitor, and they have hand-to-hand combat with T'Challa, and M'Baku does. M'Baku is basically Man-Ape in the comic book, right? This big, giant dude. They worship gorillas, and all the gorilla stereotypes that you're thinking in your head that are inappropriate are exactly what is embodied.
I know.
in
I've
that
seen some of those shots. I'm just like, wow, this is so.
It's so awkward. It's so awkward. Okay, they have a hand-to-hand combat, and T'Challa shows his moral superiority by not sacrificing M'Baku to take the throne. So fast forward, T'Challa dies. Even if he's married, she's not the queen. There would be. He doesn't have an heir. Then okay, well maybe the queen is the queen temporarily until there's some sort of tribal decision or council. We get none of that.
Nope.
We just skip all of this emotions, and then the UN stuff is all birthed out of the vibranium machine, right? We just have this machine. They find vibranium in the ocean. It's in the Atlantic Ocean. Everybody thinks the Wakandans are the one that have this big conflict because it's the U.S. military. And then she goes before the UN, basically wants to put their heads on spikes and says, no, you guys have to just back off. You guys can't even handle vibranium. So forget about 20 films setting up Thanos and then we needed technology to do anything. No. We're still not worthy. No one's worthy. We can't have it.
Which is weird because they also make it out to seem that Wakanda is the only place that vibranium has ever been used. Yet in Captain America, the first Avenger, his shield, as Howard Stark says, is vibranium.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
all right. So let's say hey to Jace real quick. Ultron? Jace is there. Yeah.
Is
so
Ultron
hang on,
even brought up?
No, we don't talk about it. We don't talk about the shield either, by the way, which was what Joker's getting at too. It's like the vibranium has been in existence in the MCU since Howard Stark, which dates back literally decades. Right. Captain America. So we're talking about like first Avenger. So, and DBR says he walked out of the theater. It's quote that bad. I watched an hour. Yeah, you didn't. It's so insanely long. So,
my favorite quality about Pops is that he's incredibly honest. At least you always know where you stand with Pops. So I like that about him. He's not passive aggressive. He's not sneaky that way. He'll give it to you straight down both barrels.